Rylan walked alone through the old mining zone, where broken machines lay half-buried under dust. The sky was dark, covered with clouds that moved like slow shadows. His small lamp cut through the darkness, but it did not make him feel safe. The place had been empty for years, and everyone said strange things happened here. But Rylan was an engineer, and he needed to check old power lines for his job. He believed nothing unusual would happen tonight. He was wrong. As he walked past a fallen tower, he heard a faint sound. It was so soft that he almost thought it was the wind. He stopped and listened again. His heartbeat slowed as the sound came again, this time clearer. "I can't move. Please help me." It was a whisper, a human voice, a scared one. Rylan turned his lamp quickly toward the sound. The beam of light shook in his hand. He walked carefully between two broken metal beams, trying not to make noise. Then he saw her. A girl lay on the ground, her body trapped under a heavy metal frame. Her hair was dark and covered in dust. Her eyes were half open, looking at him with pain and fear. She tried to lift her hand but failed. Rylan rushed to her side. "Hey, it's okay. I'm here," he said, kneeling. He tried to lift the metal frame, but it was heavier than it looked. He pushed again with more strength, his muscles shaking. Slowly, the frame rose just enough for her to pull her leg free. Her breath shook as she moved. Rylan finally pushed the metal aside and knelt beside her again. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She nodded weakly. "My name, Saris," she whispered. Her voice trembled as if speaking was painful. Rylan checked her legs and arms. There were no broken bones that he could see, just bruises and cuts. But something else caught his eye. Strange silver lines ran across her skin, glowing faintly. He froze for a moment, confused. He had never seen anything like it. "Are you human?" he asked carefully. Saris looked away and did not answer. The silver marks on her skin pulsed softly, like a slow heartbeat. Rylan did not know what it meant, but he could see she was scared. He did not push the question. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't leave you here." The ground beneath them suddenly vibrated. Dust fell from the metal beams above. Saris's eyes widened with fear. "No, no, they are coming," she whispered. "Who?" Rylan asked, but she shook her head. "Please, take me away. Please," she begged. Her voice was weak, but her fear was strong. Rylan did not understand what danger was coming, but he knew one thing. She needed help, and he could not leave her here to die. He lifted her gently, supported her weight as she tried to stand. She leaned against him, shaking. Her legs were weak, and every step hurt her, but she tried anyway. Rylan helped her walk toward his rover, a small vehicle parked behind a fallen wall. The path was rough, and he had to stop several times when Saris lost her balance. Each time, the silver marks on her skin glowed a little brighter, worrying him even more. "Just hold on," he said. "Almost there." Saris nodded, but she kept looking over her shoulder, as if expecting someone to appear from the darkness. Her breathing grew faster. She clutched Rylan's arm tightly. "Thank you," she whispered suddenly. "You didn't have to help me." Rylan gave her a small smile. "You asked for help. That's enough." They finally reached the rover. Rylan opened the door and helped her inside. She sat with a pained sigh, her hands shaking. He turned on the lights and checked her again. The silver marks were brighter now, shining like tiny paths of light under her skin. "Are you sure you're okay?" he asked. Saris lowered her eyes. "I don't know." Before Rylan could ask more, a loud sound echoed across the mining field. A deep metallic hum vibrated through the ground. Saris flinched and grabbed his sleeve. "They found me," she whispered. Rylan's breath caught. "Who?" Saris looked out the window, her eyes full of fear. "The ones who made me." Her words chilled him. He did not know what they meant, but he understood something important. She was not safe here, and if he stayed, neither was he. Rylan climbed into the driver's seat and started the rover. The engine hummed softly, and the vehicle began to move. The lights cut through the darkness, revealing the broken metal towers behind them. Saris leaned against the seat, breathing hard. "Please don't stop," she whispered. "I won't," Rylan said firmly. As they moved deeper into the shadows of the abandoned mining zone, Rylan looked at her again. She looked human, scared and tired, but those glowing silver marks told him otherwise. He wondered what she truly was, what she had escaped from, and why someone was hunting her. But for now, those questions could wait. She needed safety. She needed help, and he had promised to help her. The rover drove forward into the darkness, carrying a human engineer and a strange girl whose secrets were more dangerous than either of them knew. The silent night felt heavier now, as if something powerful was moving in the shadows behind them, searching for the girl who whispered for help. Rylan did not look back. He just drove. Rylan drove as fast as the rover allowed, its wheels bouncing over the rough ground. The dark mining zone stretched endlessly around them. Sarah sat in the passenger seat, shaking with every bump. Her silver marks glowed softly under the dim lights inside the cabin. She kept her eyes on the window, watching the shadows as if they might come alive at any moment. Rylan cleared his throat. "Saris, are you sure you're not badly hurt?" She hesitated before answering. "My body will heal. It always does." She spoke quietly, almost as if she was afraid of her own words. Rylan looked at her. "That doesn't sound human." Saris flinched, and her hands tightened on her knees. The silver lines brightened for a moment. She didn't answer. Rylan slowed the rover. He didn't want to scare her, but he needed to understand. "Saris, I won't hurt you. I just want to know what's happening. Who was looking for you? And what are those lines on your skin?" She trembled, but after a long silence, she nodded. "You saved me. So you deserve to know a little." She took a deep breath. "I was created, not born." Rylan blinked, confused. "Created? Like a machine?" "No," Saris whispered, shaking her head. "I'm alive. I feel pain. I bleed. But I was made in a lab far from here. Made to be something else. Something stronger." Rylan felt a chill. Why would anyone do that? "To build a perfect weapon," Saris said softly. "A living tool. A being who listens without question and obeys every order." Her voice cracked. "But I refused." Rylan stared at her, shocked. "So they punished you?" "Yes." She looked down at her hands, where the silver marks pulsed faintly. "Those marks, they are part of my design. They hold energy, power. But they also hurt me when someone tries to control me." Rylan remembered how scared she had been in the mining zone. "And the ones following you, they want to take you back?" Saris nodded slowly. "They don't want me free. They want me locked away again. They want to erase my mind and rebuild me." Rylan's stomach tightened. "That's wrong." Saris lifted her eyes to him. "You say that, but most people would fear me. I am not human. I'm not supposed to exist outside their halls." Rylan gave a small, sad smile. "Well, you look like a girl who needs help. That's enough for me." Her eyes softened, and for a moment she relaxed. But then the rover's scanner beeped loudly. Rylan checked the screen. 3 signals appeared behind them, fast, moving straight toward their direction. Saris's face turned pale. "They're here." Rylan pushed the rover's speed higher. "We're not letting them catch us." The rover jumped over cracked ground and old steel beams. Wind at the windows, and dust rose behind them. The signals on the scanner grew closer. Saris suddenly gasped and pressed her hand against the glass. "Stop." Rylan hit the brakes, and the rover slid to a halt. What is it?" Saris pointed outside, her voice shaky. "Look." Rylan leaned forward. A faint, flickering blue light shone far ahead. It wasn't moving. It wasn't one of the pursuers. "That's a signal beacon," Rylan whispered. "Old, but still working." Saris nodded. "It means there's a bunker nearby. A safe one. From before the war." Rylan took a deep breath. "Then we go there." He started driving again, this time more carefully. Saris watched the scanners. The 3 pursuers split up. They are searching every path. "Can they track you?" Rylan asked. Saris nodded slowly. "The silver cores of my body give off energy. They can trace it unless I do this." She closed her eyes and placed her hand over one of the glowing lines on her arm. The glow dimmed, then dimmed again. then vanished. Her body slumped forward, and Rylan caught her. "Saris, what did you do?" Her voice was weak. "I suppressed the energy. It will hide me, but it hurts. A lot." Rylan's jaw tightened. He hated seeing her in pain. "Just hold on. We're almost there." They reached a small ridge, and beyond it, the bunker entrance appeared, half buried under dust but still sealed shut. Rylan stopped the rover and helped Saris out. She leaned on him, her legs shaking badly. The glowing marks stayed dark, like silver scars instead of light. He approached the bunker door and brushed dirt off the control panel. "Let's hope this thing still works." He pressed a button. Nothing happened. Saris touched the panel gently. "Let me try." Her hand rested on the metal. For a moment, nothing changed. Then the panel lit up with a soft blue glow, reacting to something inside her. The heavy door clicked and slowly opened. Rylan stared at her. "You opened it. How?" Saris looked down at her dim silver lines. "I was made with old tech inside me. Tech they thought was forgotten." They stepped inside. The bunker was dark but dry. Old lights flickered as Saris walked past. Rylan closed the door behind them and checked the scanner again. No signals. They were hidden. Saris sank to the floor, exhausted. Rylan knelt beside her. "Does it hurt?" She gave a weak smile. "Not as much now." Rylan sat down beside her. The bunker felt quiet, save for the moment. He looked at her silver lines again, dim, but still beautiful in a strange way. "Saris," he said, "I don't care what you're made of. You're not a weapon. You're not a tool. You're someone who wants to be free." She looked at him with eyes that trembled. "Do you really think that?" Rylan nodded. "Yes, and I'll help you stay free." A silent tear slid down her cheek. "Thank you." Outside, the dark wasteland stayed quiet. The hunters searched, but they would not find her here. Not tonight. The girl who was a human finally had a place to rest, and the human who saved her was determined not to let her fall back into the hands that created her. Their fight was only beginning, but for the first time, Saris felt hope. The bunker stayed quiet tonight, but Rylan did not sleep much. He kept checking the scanners, making sure no signals appeared. Saris rested on an old cot, her breathing slow and weak. The silver marks on her skin stayed dim, showing she was still suppressing her energy. When the sun rose outside, the bunker's thin vents glowed with warm light. Saris slowly opened her eyes and looked at Rylan. "Are they gone?" "For now," he said gently, "but they're not giving up." Saris sat up slowly. She looked stronger than last night, but fear still lived in her eyes. "They won't stop until they take me back." Rylan took a seat on a nearby metal crate. "Saris, who exactly are they?" She hesitated. Her hands trembled slightly. "They are soldiers of the Imperial Corps. My creators. My owners." Rylan frowned. "You're not anyone's property." Saris gave a sad smile. "To them, I am. They made me in their labs. They trained me. They controlled my mind with pain signals. They think I belong to them." Rylan's anger grew. "Why would an empire need someone like you?" "Because I was their prototype," Saris whispered. "Their perfect hybrid. Part organic, part machine, part something older. Something they found deep under the ruins of the old world. They used that ancient energy to make me." Rylan looked at her silver lines again. "Those marks, they're part of that energy?" She nodded. "Yes, I am the only one who can use it. That's why they want me." Before Rylan could respond, the bunker scanner beeped. Rylan hurried to the screen. A large signal appeared, bigger than the 3 hunters from before. It moved slowly but clearly toward their direction. Rylan's face hardened. "This isn't a tracker team. This is a ship. A big one." Sarah stood up quickly. "They sent a retrieval carrier. That means the Empire knows exactly where I am." Rylan stared at the map. "How they find this place? Your energy is suppressed." Saris swallowed hard. "They must have found my old trail. They are following the path I took before I met you." The scanner flashed a warning. "Ground forces detected. We have to move," Rylan said. "Now." Saris tried to walk, but her legs were still weak. Rylan supported her, and they moved toward the bunker door. When they stepped outside, the air was thick with dust, and the morning sun painted the wasteland gold. In the distance, they saw it, a huge Imperial carrier landing on the ground. Dust clouds rose under its engines. Small figures dropped from its sides, marching across the wasteland with glowing rifles. Saris froze. That's the elite unit. They never fail. Rylan looked at her. They've never met me. She blinked in surprise. Even scared, she laughed quietly. You're strange, Rylan. Thanks, he said. Now let's get out of here. He helped her into the rover, and they sped away from the bunker, kicking dust behind them. But the carrier's soldiers spread fast, forming a wide line behind them. Rylan, Saris whispered, they will catch us. Not if we get to the canyon, he said. There's a narrow pass there. Their big units won't fit. Saris glanced at the scanner. The red dots kept growing, but the small ones will deal with them. The rover rushed over rocks and old metal scraps. The wind hit their faces, and the scanner beeped faster. Saris looked back and saw speeders approaching, sleek machines carrying armored soldiers. They're almost here, she cried. Rylan turned sharply, heading toward a broken road. The rover bounced violently, but he kept control. Saris held on tightly. The speeders closed in. Blue lights flashed on their sides, signaling for them to stop. Rylan muttered, not a chance. One of the speeders moved ahead of the others and fired a warning shot. A streak of blue energy hit the ground beside the rover. Saris gasped. They wanted to disable the rover. Another shot came, hitting closer. Rylan pushed the engine to its limit. The canyon finally appeared ahead, its walls tall and sharp like stone teeth. We're close, he shouted. But then a voice echoed from behind, a deep mechanical tone amplified by speakers. Saris, 01. Surrender. The Empire commands your return. Saris shook her head fiercely. No, I won't go back. The rover raced toward the canyon entrance. The speeders accelerated, preparing to surround them. Rylan made a split-second decision. Saris, hold on. He drove straight toward a narrow crack between two stones. The rover barely fit. Metal scraped against rock, and sparks flew, but they made it through. The speeders tried to follow, but their wide frames hit the rocks and jammed. The soldiers yelled in frustration as their machines got stuck. Rylan and Saris finally emerged into a small open area inside the canyon. Rylan stopped the rover and let out a long breath. We bought some time. Saris looked at him, her eyes soft but full of worry. They won't give up. The Empire doesn't fail. Rylan turned to her. Let them come. I'm not leaving you. Saris touched his hand gently. Why? I'm not human. I'm not simple. I'm dangerous. And I'm stubborn, Rylan replied with a smile. Bad mix for them. She laughed softly, but tears filled her eyes. You don't understand. The Empire will punish anyone who helps me. Anyone. Then they'll have to deal with me, he said simply. She stared at him, shocked. No one had ever said those words to her before. No one had ever chosen to stand with her. Behind them, the canyon echoed with far-off engines. The Empire was still coming. The fight was not over. But for the first time in her life, Saris wasn't facing alone. The canyon walls shook as the sound of engines grew louder. The Empire's forces were not stopping. Their machines moved like metal beasts, crawling through every path and searching every corner. Rylan and Saris hid behind a tall rock formation, listening to the echoes. Rylan checked his old blaster. It hummed weakly, its charge low. We need a plan. Just running won't work anymore. Saris looked down at her hands. The silver lines on her skin pulsed faintly, like sleepy stars. I can help, but only if I remove the suppressor inside me. Rylan turned to her quickly. Suppressor? She nodded slowly. It is a device they put inside my chest. It stops my full power. If I break it, I will gain back everything they took from me. That sounds good, Rylan said. Then do it. Saris shook her head. It is not simple. Removing it will cause pain. And once it is gone, the Empire will know instantly. They will come even harder. Rylan thought for a moment. If it gives you strength, then we need it, because right now they can crush us. Saris looked at him with fear and hope together. You really want me to do it? I want you free, he said. A soft breath escaped her, almost like a small laugh of disbelief. No one has ever wanted that for me. Before they could decide further, a loud voice echoed through the canyon. Saris, 01, you cannot escape. Rylan pulled her deeper behind the rocks. A small flying drone hovered above the canyon floor, scanning everything with a bright red light. Saris leaned close to Rylan. That drone is a locator. Once it marks us, the Empire will fire. Rylan grabbed a rock and threw at the drone. It missed, but the drone turned toward the sound, scanning faster. He whispered, We don't have time. Saris nodded. Then we break the chains now. She sat down on the ground and placed both hands over her heart. The silver lines began to glow slowly, then brighter. Her breathing turned sharp and shaky. Rylan knelt beside her. What do you need me to do? Stay with me, she whispered, so I don't lose myself. Rylan placed his hand over hers. Her skin was warm, too warm. The glow spread across her chest, forming a pattern of old symbols. A faint cracking sound came from inside her body. She gasped, gripping the ground. It hurts. You're doing great, Rylan whispered. Keep going. The drone moved closer. Its red light passed over the rocks, and Rylan knew they had only seconds. Saris trembled. The suppressor, it's breaking. Break it, Rylan said softly. Break all of it. She let out a small cry. Then the symbols on her skin lit up so bright that even Rylan had to look away. A wave of soft silver energy burst from her chest. And then silence. Saris fell forward, breathing fast but steady. In her chest, the faint glow became calm and smooth, like a star resting after a long fight. Rylan checked her quickly. Saris, are you okay? She opened her eyes. They were brighter than before, shining like molten silver. I feel awake for the first time. The drone finally saw the light and focused on their position. It let out an alarm sound and flew upward to signal the carrier. Saris stood. I can stop it. She raised her hand. The silver energy responded immediately, swirling around her fingers. A thin beam of light shot from her palm and hit the drone. It cracked, sparked, and fell to the ground in smoke. Rylan stared. That was fast. Saris looked at her hands, as if seeing them for the first time. This is what they feared. They made me strong, too strong, and they tried to control it. Rylan grabbed her arm gently. Then let's use that strength to get out of here. Before they could move, the canyon trembled again. This time, heavily armored soldiers walked into the canyon entrance. Their weapons glowed blue, ready to fire. Saris stepped in front of Rylan. Stay behind me. Rylan hesitated. Saris. She looked back at him with confidence. Trust me. The soldiers spread out. Saris. 01, surrender. By order the High Command. Saris lifted her hand slowly, silver light forming around her fingers. I am not yours anymore. The soldiers opened fire. Blue energy blasts rushed toward her like deadly arrows. Rylan yelled, but Saris didn't move. Instead, a shield of silver light burst outward. Every shot hit the shield and dissolved into sparks. The soldiers hesitated, shocked. Saris stepped forward, and her voice echoed like thunder. You chained me. You hunted me. But those chains are gone. With a sweep of her hand, she sent a wave of energy through the canyon. The ground cracked, and the soldiers were pushed back, weapons falling from their hands. Rylan stared in awe. She was powerful, more than anything he had ever seen. But her expression wasn't cruel. It was calm, free. She turned to him. We can run now. Rylan nodded. Let's go, before they bring something bigger. They ran deeper into the canyon, the sounds of confused soldiers fading behind them. For the first time since Saris had begged for help in the dark ruins, she didn't look afraid. She looked alive. And Rylan realized something. She was no longer running from her chains. She was running toward her future. The cave was quiet after the fight. Dust floated in the air, and the sound of falling stones echoed far behind them. Aaron walked beside Mira, helping her move through the broken passage. She walked slowly, still weak from the fight with the Empire soldiers. Her steps were unsteady, but she refused to stop. Aaron watched her carefully. She looked almost human, but now he knew the truth. She was something more, something powerful, something the Empire feared. They reached the open mouth of the cave. The night sky stretched above them, full of quiet stars. Mira stared at them with wide silver eyes. She looked like she was seeing them for the first time. "Are you okay?" Aaron asked. She nodded, but she was shaking. "I'm free, but I don't know what happens next." Aaron had no answer. He only knew one thing. He would not leave her alone. They walked across the empty desert for hours. The cold wind brushed across the sand. Mira kept glancing at Aaron, as if she wanted to say something but didn't know how. Finally, they stopped by an old transport tower. It had not worked in decades, but it gave them shelter from the wind. Aaron sat down. Mira sat across from him. "You fought them," she said softly. "You could have run. You could have left me, but you stayed." Aaron shrugged. "I wasn't going to let them take you." She lowered her head. "You don't understand what I am. If they want me back, it's not because they think I am dangerous. It's because they think I belong to them." Aaron frowned. "No one owns you." Mira raised her hand slowly. A soft glow moved across her fingers. The air shook gently around her, like heat rising from fire. "I was made," she whispered. "They built something in me, something I can't control fully. It is powerful, too powerful." Aaron leaned forward. "What is it?" She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, a loud hum filled the air. The sand trembled under their feet. Aaron jumped up. Ships. Bright lights cut across the sky. Empire ships, flying low, scanning the desert. Mira stepped back in fear. She pressed against the metal wall of the old tower, her eyes glowing silver again. "No," she whispered. "They found me. Stay behind me," Aaron said. But Mira shook her head. "If they take me, they will hurt everyone. You don't understand, Aaron. There is something inside me, something they put there. If they activate it," she swallowed, "I don't know what will happen." Aaron felt a cold weight in his chest. "Then we don't let them take you." The ships landed in a half circle around the tower. Sand whipped through the air. Soldiers marched forward, armor shining in the moonlight. Their leader stepped ahead, tall and calm. "Return the asset," he called. "Return her, and the human will not be harmed." Mira looked at Aaron. Her voice trembled. "If I go, they will use me. If I stay, they will kill you." Aaron stepped closer to her. "Mira, look at me. I'm not leaving you. And they're not taking you." Mira shook her head. "You don't know what I am." Aaron reached out and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Maybe not, but I know who you are, and that is enough." Tears formed in her silver eyes. The soldiers advanced. Their weapons glowed with blue energy. Aaron stood in front of her, fists clenched, though he knew he couldn't fight them alone. The leader lifted a control device. "Mira, 7, activate obedience protocol." The device flashed. Mira screamed. She fell to her knees, holding her head. Silver light burst from her skin. Her voice cracked with pain. "No, no, please stop." Aaron grabbed her shoulders. "Mira, fight it. Don't let them control you." "I can't," she sobbed. "They made this part of me. They built it inside me." The air began to shake violently. The ground cracked beneath them. The soldiers stumbled. The leader shouted, "Restrain her before the power spike." But Myra's power surged. Bright light exploded outward. Aaron held her tightly. "Mira, listen to me. You are not what they made. You are more than that." Her breath trembled. "Aaron, I don't want to hurt anyone." "Then choose not to," he whispered. "Choose yourself." The energy around her started to calm, as if his voice was pulling her back from the edge. Her glowing skin dimmed. Her shaking slowed. She took a long breath. "I choose," she whispered. The light faded. Suddenly, the control device in the leader's hand exploded. Sparks flew. Soldiers panicked. Mira stood up slowly. Her eyes were still bright, but now steady, calm, powerful. She looked at the soldiers. You do not control me anymore. Her voice was soft, but the air moved with her words. The soldiers stepped back in fear. Aaron stood beside her. The leader stared at her, shocked. That is impossible. You were programmed. No, Mira said. I was imprisoned, and now I am free. The soldiers lowered their weapons. They did not want to fight her. Aaron took Myra's hand. Let's leave. They walked away, past the silent soldiers, past the broken control device, past the ships that dared not move. The night wind brushed against them, cold and gentle. After a long silence, Mira spoke softly. Aaron, there is something else. Something I never told anyone. Aaron looked at her. What is it? She stared at the stars. I know why they built me. I know what is inside me. And if the truth comes out, it will change everything. Aaron squeezed her hand. Whatever it is, you won't face it alone. She looked at him with calm, glowing eyes. The power inside me, she whispered, is not from the Empire. It is human. Human technology. Human design. And it is far stronger than what the Empire understands. Aaron froze. Human technology? Built into her? She nodded. Aaron, the thing inside me was made by humans long before the Empire existed. And now that I am awake, everyone will know. And the truth shocked the entire galaxy.